我想問呢個距離係咪 OK 嘅？O唔 OK？係。試咪，試咪，試咪，試咪，試咪，試咪，試咪，試咪，試咪，試咪，試咪，咁樣係咪 OK？跟住講要大聲啲得啦。OK。你試一試。
好啊。時間 testing。Okay, testing. Is this okay? Okay.
我哋 OK， 影相。OK。咁好多謝大家，即係喺咁短咁緊急嘅時間，咁多位記者、咁多位朋友嚟到現場參加民間記者會呢一個嘅記者招待會啦。咁點解會揀喺今晚咁緊急去召開呢個記者招待會呢？其實最主要呢，就係回應翻林鄭月娥特首喺今日6點鐘發表嘅電視講話啦。首先呢，就會係我呢，羅先生呢，就做呢一個中文嘅發言，然後呢，就會係陳小姐呢，就會做呢一個英文嘅發言。咁再之後呢，就會係 Q&A 嘅 section 問答嘅環節。好，唔該。烏克蘭嘅抗爭紀錄片《Winter of Fire》就講過，如果我哋接受咗政府嘅條件呢，我哋已經死去嘅朋友係唔會原諒我哋嘅。超過88日嘅抗爭，示威者自從7月1號攻佔咗立法會之後，明確咁樣提出咗5大訴求。行政長官林鄭月娥用 IE 咁樣嘅速度，拎機超過2個月，先回應示威者6月初最強烈嘅訴求，撤回修例。但係又可唔可以喺立法會復會之後正式撤回條例呢？原來仍然都係未知之數。民間記者會首先重申5大訴求缺一不可。如果話撤回送中條例係舊債嘅話，咁政府同埋警方連月嚟疊加嘅血債，早已經令你哋嘅人格同埋道德徹底咁樣破產。今日林鄭你呢一句嘅撤回，根本完全冇辦法彌補過去3個月各位手足、各位香港人嘅血同埋淚。今次嘅抗爭運動反送中只係一條藥引，但係就撕開咗香港本來行之有效嘅各種制度，實質咁樣殘破不堪嘅假面具。警方濫捕、白色恐怖威嚇、企業政治審查、中共嘅爪牙肆虐，喺呢3個月嚟積下嘅債，為港人刻下多重嘅創傷。對於制度嘅信任崩盤，並唔係簡單一句撤回就可以彌補得到，亦因此衍生咗民間嘅5大訴求。呢一切都係有根有據，絕對唔係變質。變質嘅係呢一個腐敗嘅殘暴政權。美國國會呢，即將復會審議香港民主同埋民主及人權法案在即。特區政府呢，此時此刻此舉，更加證明咗大家結合和理非、勇武、海外、海內聯合抗爭嘅方法係有效可取。其他嘅4項訴求包括成立獨立調查委員會、釋放被捕示威者、 撤回暴動定性，以及實行每一位香港人一人一票嘅真普選，先係保障一切唔會重蹈覆轍嘅關鍵。五大訴求一日未實現，抗爭者絕對不會接受。香港人係冇收貨嘅本錢。林鄭特首表明要等到立法會10月復會，先會經保安局局長按議事規則動議撤回草案。即係話證明喺6月嘅時候，林鄭所謂壽終正寢就等於撤回嘅言論，完全係一個大話。既然呢一個政權慣於講大話，點樣保證呢一個殘酷不仁嘅政權會保證喺動議表決嘅時候，呢一個撤回會被通過呢？而根據香港中文大學近日進行嘅民意調查，市民對於成立獨立調查委員會嘅呼聲係高達95.1%，高於撤回條例嘅85.9%，足足1成。眾所周知，監警會係冇授予到法律嘅調查權力，即係一隻冇牙老虎。無論警黑勾結導致嘅元朗黑夜、警暴肆虐嘅呢度3個月以嚟，速龍小隊重現嘅831屍殺列車，喺市民極度需要查明真相嘅時候，林鄭竟然安插2個人加入監警會了事，就以為可以滿足到各大市民對於真相嘅渴求。其中如黎清平前高官兼林鄭競選辦嘅資深顧問，更加明言表示反修例事件係唔適合設立獨立調查委員會，叫市民點樣相信佢哋呢一班人係會不偏不倚、盡心盡力咁樣去展開調查？中立性何在？法律性何在呢？林鄭而家你做嘅嘢呢，已經係太遲太少，完全冇用。林鄭呢曾經喺路透社嘅錄音披露嘅錄音入邊呢，估算暴力分子呢就有2000人。佢今日咧嘅發言最後就指咧，目前最迫切嘅就係要壓止暴力、捍衛法治、重建社會秩序，而政府咧就會嚴正執法。我想問林鄭月娥，事件平靜咗之後，係唔係就係秋後算賬大搜捕嘅時候呢？我哋要問嘅手足，今日警方已經講咗有1183個手足被捕，當中有71個手足被控暴動罪。最少8個手足因為咁樣輕生咗，抗爭者已經付上沉重嘅代價。我哋死去嘅朋友會唔會接受呢一個嘅撤回呢？最初我哋或者係睇唔到希望，但我哋相信嘅唔係話我哋有希望所以先要堅持落去，而係我哋堅持落去先會有希望。今日我哋嘅毅力同埋堅持，終於令到高牆咧打開少少嘅缺口，但係我哋唔會再滿足於所謂嘅階段性勝利。我哋對於公義、對於自由嘅渴求係永遠都唔會停止，直到5大訴求完全落實。5大訴求缺一不可，唔係淨係大家遊行出嚟叫嘅口號，唔係淨係大家每日夜晚10點喺窗邊吶喊嘅口號，而係確確實實香港人嘅共識同埋行動嘅原則，仲有信念。為咗抗爭者，為咗已經逝去嘅手足，為咗流亡海外嘅手足，為咗被捕嘅手足，為咗香港人，為咗我哋嘅下一代，我哋已經踏入咗抗爭最關鍵嘅1里路，我哋唔可以退縮，我哋一定要繼續要求政府答應5大訴求。我哋仍然期望有一日香港人可以得到林鄭月娥正面嘅回應，我哋可以得到免於恐懼嘅自由。喺呢個地方，喺立法會嘅煲底，我哋可以除開罩，同所有嘅手足相見相擁，光復香港。時代革命，
光復香港！
時代革命，
光復香港！時代革命！香港人加油！香港人加油！香港人加油！
5大訴求。 香港人。而家會係英文嘅發言。
I will now recap the speech in English. Despite what Carrie Lam has said earlier today, we want the world to know the bill is not withdrawn. Do not be fooled again. Carrie Lam stated that the proposal for the bill's withdrawal would be raised in the legislature, also known as LegCo. However, LegCo will not be in session until October. Even more alarmingly, LegCo is not elected by the Hong Kong people and therefore consists mainly of pro-Beijing legislators. Hong Kongers can see right through Carrie Lam's lies. She wants a way to shift her responsibilities so that when the proposal is rejected by LegCo in October, she can say it is not her fault and then legitimately proceed with passing the bill. To our friends around the world, please do not think this government has backed down, because it certainly has not. It is just seeking to create confusion, attempting to distract and escape accountability. Please don't let them succeed. Even if the bill were fully withdrawn, the documentary Winter on Fire has this to say about Ukraine's fight for freedom. If we accept the government's conditions, our friends who have sacrificed their lives will never forgive us. The world will remember that we made our 5 demands deafeningly clear by storming into the Legislative Council. This was on the 1st of July. Today is the 4th of September. It has been more than 2 months before Carrie Lam has finally crawled out of her silence to respond to one and only one of our 5 demands, the withdrawal of the extradition bill. The Citizens' Press Conference would first like to reiterate, on the principle, 5 demands, not one less. If you scrape your knee, applying a Band-Aid onto the wound will be a quick fix. But if you don't do that, and even start rubbing dirty fingers onto the wound, what used to be a small, easily fixable injury will morph into an infection, then rotting flesh, and eventually amputation, or even death by sepsis. If Carrie Lam had withdrawn the bill 2 months ago, that may have been a quick fix. But applying a Band-Aid months later onto rotting flesh will simply not cut it. What used to be just one demand, the withdrawal of the bill, has now snowballed into 5 demands because of the evil this government has shown towards its own people. And now, 2 months on, the 5 demands have grown into an intimately intertwined package. We are 1 demand down, and we are 4 to go. We will not settle for less. The anti-extradition movement may have been triggered by the extradition bill, but it was only the last straw on top of a haystack that was already on the verge of burning. This very large haystack includes all the systematic failures and brazen lies this government has always perpetrated. A demented and shoot-to-kill police force, a white terror regime, political censorship of corporates, and the greedy jaws of the Chinese Communist Party are just debts which have been offloaded onto Hong Kongers within these 3 short months. Does the government honestly think that the trauma, grievances, and anguish they have caused can be so easily dismissed by 2 syllables, expecting the word withdraw to salvage all they have caused is childish and tone-deaf at best. The fact that the US Congress will resume within a few days and will continue with the reading of the Hong Kong Human Rights and Democracy Act has no doubt given the Hong Kong government a fierce kick up the backside. It is certainly no coincidence that the government has decided to make this announcement at this particular time. To this end, we are incredibly encouraged to see the impressive camaraderie between local protesters and international efforts. And international efforts is indeed an effective way to express our voices. That being said, the government has responded to only one of our 5 demands. We have also demanded that the government set up an independent commission of inquiry to release pro-democracy protesters who have been arrested, to withdraw the characterization of protests as riots, as well as the immediate implementation of dual universal suffrage. Until the day all these demands are met, Hong Kongers will not yield. In fact, with a bleak and oppressive political future ahead of us, Hong Kongers cannot afford to yield. According to a recent survey conducted by the Chinese University of Hong Kong, the respondents acknowledged the need of a fully independent investigation committee, not a part of the Hong Kong Police Force's IPCC. At 95.1%, this request is even higher than the demand of withdrawing the extradition bill at 85.9%. This is because respondents are well aware that the IPCC possesses no independence and no authority over investigations, with not even the ability to call witnesses to the stand. We have seen the riot police beating train passengers on the 31st of August. We have seen riot police beating train passengers on the 31st of August at Prince Edward Station, and Carrie Lam's proposal of adding 2 more members to the IPCC task force simply offers no help in light of the ever-intensifying police brutality. Mr. Helen Yu Lai used to be a senior consultant for Carrie Lam's election campaign 2 years ago. Her previous role has us worried if she can ever be politically neutral, notwithstanding her recent comments on the movement that she deemed a fully independent investigation inappropriate in June of 2019. How can Hong Kong citizens trust the impartiality and neutrality of these 2 new members? What Carrie Lam has done so far is too little and far too late. We must also ask our fellow protesters, with 1,183 of us arrested, among them 67 charged with rioting, and at least 5 suicides for the cause, we have already paid a heavy price. Will our deceased companions accept this kind of withdrawal? At the beginning, we might not yet see the light of hope. Yet we believe it is not to persevere in the clear sight of hope, but to persevere to see the light of hope. Hong Kongers will not be satisfied by a partial victory, and our thirst for freedom and justice will not be quenched. 5 demands, not 1 less. It is not merely a slogan we yell out of our windows at 10 p.m. at night. This is the joint consensus. This is the belief and principle by which Hong Kongers abide and uphold. We look forward to the day when Hong Kongers are finally freed from fear. Then, at this very venue, we will be able to take off our masks and meet each other for the first time. One day. Liberate Hong Kong, the revolution of our times. 5 demands, not 1 less. Fight on, and take care, fellow Hong Kongers. Thank you.
Fight for freedom!
Stand with Hong Kong!
Fight for freedom!
Stand with Hong Kong!
Fight for freedom! Stand with Hong Kong! Pass the articles, please!
咁接落嚟會係記者提問嘅環節啦。咁會唔會有記者想要提問？係前邊藍色衫呢位記者朋友。係。藍色衫。
I'm with Voice America. I understand that there's 5 demands, right? So the chief executive accepted 1. Don't you think this is a good beginning for something better, something ultimately you can achieve the goal? Or is all or nothing? So can you explain to us that it's all or nothing for you? Or is something else? Thanks.
Yes, we have the slogan, 5 demands, not 1 less. And we may have achieved 1 demand. We are not even sure of that yet because, of course, the legislature does not reopen until a month from now. But yes, this is 1 demand. We still have 4 left to go, and we will not back down until the day all 5 of our demands are met. Next question, please.
會唔會有下一條問題？
What do you make of the timing of the Marseille Chamber issues? You mentioned the timing that Caroline made this announcement is very particular. It's right before the US Congress reopened. So what do you say about that? Why now?
Why now? It is, of course, the CPC's anniversary on October the 1st. In addition, the US Congress is reopening in a few days, and therefore we believe that the government wishes to put on a fast to placate Hong Kongers before October the 1st, before perhaps the bill can be passed even in October. And so we do not believe that this is a genuine concession on Carrie Lam's part.
Do you think it's an effort by China to offer a concession to try and make peace in the lead-up to October 1st? Do you think it's hoping to make calm and quell an anger to
Yes.
make those celebrations go ahead?
Yes, we believe it is an attempt to placate us, but of course it will not work. We have seen through Carrie Lam's lies, we have seen through the lies of this government, and we will not back down, not even one step.
What about the protests this weekend? Will you continue to protest in light of this concession? What is this moving forward?
Yes, I believe Hong Kongers will continue to come out to protest, to fight for rights and to fight for the 5 demands.
咁你講話點解即係要你覺得係林鄭月娥點解會係揀今日就話宣佈辭呢個活動咧？同埋點解你會覺得話個動議係唔即係一個大話？因為點解即係覺得話即係中國就其實係政府其實話即係可以撤回就可以撤回呢個根據。
OK，咁啱啱記者就問，即係點解會覺得林鄭月娥會選擇喺呢個時間？咁同埋就係問點解會覺得林鄭月娥仍然都係啦，可能都係會係講緊大話啦。咁我諗第一個問題咧就係、其實佢揀呢個時候咧就係、我諗其實某程度上咧係真係證明咗大家嘅即係示威咧，其實大家話俾政府聽嘅嗰啲訴求，我哋所舉辦嘅遊行，甚至唔同方式嘅不合作運動或者示威咧，其實係有效用。咁而亦都包括其他海外嘅香港人或者係有唔同嘅香港人嘅幫手啦。咁喺咁樣嘅情況底下咧，就即係配合翻好多唔同嘅因素，例如林鄭月娥又有一段嘅錄音又被公開啦，咁就再加上接近國慶嘅日子啦，再加上美國嘅國會即將復會啦，咁我諗好多嘅種種嘅因素咧就出現咧，就令到佢有今日嘅呢一個決定。咁但係我諗有一樣嘢好清楚就係、其實林鄭月娥佢本身好強調嘅就係暫緩同撤回冇分別。之後咧佢又話壽終正寢同撤回係冇分別。咁今日見到啦，原來撤回咧係要經過一啲既定嘅程序啦。咁而撤回咧亦都係可以由佢個口入面去講出嚟嘅。咁如果呢一個嘅政府係仍然可信，如果呢一個嘅政府唔係咄咄逼人嘅話，點解佢唔可以喺一切嘅事件發生之前，點解佢唔可以喺100萬人示威遊行話俾佢聽市民唔中意你呢一個嘅修例嘅時候就選擇撤回呢？佢去到今時今日咁樣嘅地步，佢先願意去撤回。但係我好想同大家講嘅就係、今日唔係我哋示威嘅終結，今日只不過係我哋示威嘅一個嘅轉捩點。我哋仍然都要繼續行落去，繼續咁樣去堅持我哋嘅5大訴求，到最後先可以揭破晒呢一個殺人政權所有嘅謊言。唔該，係。
Excuse me. We have seen in the last weekends an increasing violence and vandalizing. Don't you think that after this first step, that maybe it's not enough for you, or it's only a way to begin to talk? Would you like to make a call to the people? Sorry. Would you like to make a call to the people to maybe go back to the most peaceful way or stop the violence? Because many people are concerned that there's going to be a real tragedy here in Hong Kong if both sides don't take some, don't pull head.
So your point is to ask if protesters will de-escalate the situation. Am I correct? If protesters will de-escalate the situation. Carrie Lam's announcement is not any announcement or declaration that the government or the police force will de-escalate. The police have began, these actions of police brutality, and they have escalated over the past 2 months. And if they do not de-escalate, then neither will we.
And you said there will be tragedy if we don't stop our protests. But I want to say it is already a tragedy in Hong Kong, and there is no turning back. And we will not give up until the 5 demands are satisfied.
But do you think violence is something that you can use to achieve your goals?
I do not think we are using violence. I think we are acting in self-defense against a police force which is completely willing to attack defenseless civilians, to attack peaceful protesters. And there is no direct violence coming from our part, or at least not escalating on our part.
Thank you.
Are not you worried that when the people in the whole world, in other places, they see the demonstrators vandalizing the subway stations, attacking the policemen, don't you think that can be against the democratic movement? Don't you think it can be against your cause?
I do not think we have to obey a narrative of absolute victimhood in order for our cause to be right.
So you don't think it's going to affect? You think that people are going to keep supporting the democratic movement even if there is this radical of violence?
I would not call anything radical or violent at this point. I believe that people know our demands are just. I believe people believe in our cause, and we will not divide within amongst ourselves.
Thank you.
Thank you.
係。首先即係啱啱記者其中一個問題就係問會唔會擔心示威者可能一啲嘅不合作運動會令到市民去反感？當然咧，其實係見到有聲音，即係可能係市民，即係示威者某一啲嘅不合作運動咧，係的而且確係會影響到市民。但我諗好大部分嘅市民又或者係即係支持示威者、支持五大訴求、明白嘅市民，或者佢真係有睇一啲即係真實嘅新聞嘅市民咧，其實佢都會明白示威者咁樣嘅做法咧，唔係為咗要傷害佢哋，唔係為咗要傷害呢一個嘅唔係為咗要傷害呢一個嘅香港。其實我諗冇人比示威者更加即係愛香港。政府林鄭月娥成日去話自己好愛香港點，佢流出嘅錄音，佢最關心嘅係自己冇辦法行出街去洗頭。呢一個咁樣嘅人係愛香港咩？但係相反，示威者一路以嚟佢做嘅唔同嘅行為，的而且確可能係會影響到某一啲嘅市民，但係佢哋同樣都係付出緊自己嘅血汗，付出緊自己嘅生命， 付出緊自己嘅前途，去為成個香港去爭取一個更加自由、爭取一個更加民主嘅香港，係咪一種錯誤呢？我諗大家都會理解。而呢一個嘅示威會唔會繼續落去？我諗亦都係我哋今日民間記者會開呢一個嘅記者會嘅原因，就係我哋會希望大家明白，即係如果你有一刻覺得咁樣就夠啦，咁樣就可以接受嘅話咧，我希望你可以記起我哋已經翻唔到轉頭，我哋已經有好多嘅手足犧牲咗，我哋一定要繼續落去，完成義士嘅心願，完成烈士嘅遺志。如果你係仍然願意抗爭落去嘅話，我哋開呢個記者會，希望話俾你聽，你唔係孤單嘅，我哋仍然都會有好多人繼續陪你行落去。而嚟緊，我哋會唔會有即係第二啲嘅示威活動係記者第二個嘅問題？我諗其實網上亦都有一啲嘅聲音去號召啦，喺嚟緊嘅星期六咧就會去繼續即係和理非嘅機場不合作運動啦。而星期日咧亦都會去美國嘅大使館嗰度去請願啦。咁呢啲係一啲網上嘅號召啦。而除此之外，一啲嘅不合作運動亦都有網民提出話可以即係嘗試去杯葛港鐵啦，即係係啦，杯葛港鐵，即係去嘗試去跳閘啦，又或者去即係去可能係平時戴口罩咁樣，呢啲亦都係一啲網民提出可以點樣繼續我哋嘅抗爭路嘅一啲嘅方法。係，多謝記者。
你啱同網民方面嘅一啲所做嘅動作啦，咁其實睇翻網民今日部分嘅反應就係話，針對翻林鄭月娥用到話動議撤回呢個字眼，有網民就質疑就係話，會唔會係一個冚？因為佢今日係叫翻見證啊上去政府嗰度，即係叫做自然調咗啦。咁有網民就話啦，會唔會係話喺個程序上有可能性，就係話入到立法會説服議員之後，如果真係議員否決咗嘅話，其實成件事就會變成一個談。如果市民接受咗今次呢一個動議撤回嘅字眼，就會通過。而你點睇呢一個呢一個方面嘅睇法咧？咁另一個問題就係話，嗱，其實個運動或者成個抗爭行動嚟講，如果真係要數，其實唔應該連一路數嘅，因為有人做。已經維持咗咁多個月，動員能力而家開埋學之後，亦都開始即係大家可能有啲學生要翻學開始有啲，就算係罷課，亦都唔係一星期咁多人。擔唔擔心就係話個動員能力方面係會弱咗咧？而即係要維持落去嘅話，當然你睇記者會，你會希望大家可以話實心維持咯。但係能力上嚟講，你覺得香港人仲可以撐幾耐？幾時或者花幾耐時間先可以達到你哋嘅終極目標，話喺煲底叫做除規除口罩？
咁即係首先第一個問題就係驚唔驚林鄭月娥係講緊大話或者切一個頭？咁當然就係非常之害怕。咁所以我哋今日先會即係開呢個記者會。啱啱喺即係喺發言嘅時候，亦都有曾經講過，就係佢用嘅字眼係動議去即係動議去撤回啦。咁亦都需要去保安局局長即係再經過一啲程序喺立法會復會之後，先可以正式咁樣去撤回啦。咁唔知即係佢係咪真係會正式嘅撤回啦？但係佢呢一個咁樣嘅講法咧，其實我諗大家都需要去留意一下。其實佢係一個經常玩語言藝術、經常去講大話嘅一個人啦。即係佢滿口都係謊言啦。佢之前都曾經講過話撤回，其實就即係等於壽終正寢。所以壽終正寢咗之後咧，就可以當收貨啦。但係今日我哋見到嘅就係咧，原來咧真係撤回咧，又要經過一啲嘅程序喎。但係今日咧，佢講嘅咧就係動議撤回啦。咁所以我相信網民同埋我哋民間記者會咧，都係非常之擔心。其實佢又會喺呢一啲嘅字眼入邊去做一啲嘅手腳啦。説到尾，即係撤回係我哋其中一個好重要嘅訴求啦，五大訴求啦。咁所以我哋當然希望呢一個嘅訴求係可以完全達到啦。咁但係除咗呢一個訴求之外咧，我哋仍然都會有四大嘅訴求咧，都係我哋今日開呢個記者會嘅原因。我希望大家唔好忘記呢一點咯。第二個問題咧，就係記者啱啱提出就係擔唔擔心開學咗之後咧，即係開咗學之後咧，示威者嘅動員能力咧係會減少減弱。咁 我諗其實即係9月2號開學嘅嗰一日，大家都可以睇到中文大學嘅百萬大道啦，亦都可以睇到每一間中學，大部分嘅中學入邊罷課嘅情況啦，亦都會睇到咧政府點樣去迫害嗰一啲即係本身擁有罷課自由嘅學生啦。咁我諗即係喺咁樣嘅情況底下，我諗其實大家都會見到個動員能力咧，其實係唔會因為咁樣而減少咗。咁更加重要嘅係，我諗由頭到尾咧，動員動唔動到人，或者係多唔多示威者、多唔多市民出嚟去支持反送中活動、支持5大訴求要落實咧，從來都唔係睇佢哋忙唔忙，從來都唔係睇佢哋有冇時間辛唔辛苦，而係香港人嗰200萬人、嗰200萬個嘅市民，佢哋係有一片嘅心。佢哋好希望香港好，所以佢哋先會行出嚟，而同佢哋係忙唔忙、需唔需要返學或者返工係冇關係。我相信反送中運動咧，從來都唔淨止係一個學生嘅運動咯。即使學生要返學都好咧，其實其他嘅市民咧都仍然係會繼續行出嚟啦。咁而一開始6月9號或者再之前嘅時候，其實係仲未放暑假嘅，但係我哋已經見到咧學生嘅動員能力咧都係非常之強，咁所以係絕對唔擔心呢方面。
生活中有幾時可以除頭盔，即係喺煲底呢一套傳統嘅長假，仲有幾耐時間？有冇一個心目中嘅一個時間表？
我諗由始至終咧，我哋唔係香港嘅話事人咧。如果我哋係香港嘅話事人咧，我哋一早就已經答應咗5大訴求啦。咁所以幾時可以真係去到煲底去除頭盔，除我而家身上嘅面罩，唔再着黑色衫，唔再戴帽戴頭盔咧，其實係真係好睇政府香港特別行政區政府，甚或乎係佢背後嘅中央政府嘅回應。咁但係我相信，即係未真係達到5大訴求之前咧，呢一日咧，就算大家嚟咗都好咧，都唔會係開心。我哋已經永遠咁樣失去咗幾條嘅人命同埋手足啦，而有一班被捕人士咧，佢亦都可能因為咁樣咧，會受到法律或者係警方嘅迫害啦。佢唔能夠喺呢一度同我哋除罩相見啦。亦都有一班好愛香港嘅立法會手足啦，甚至乎係幾年前嘅魚蛋手足啦，佢哋流亡咗喺海外啦。亦都有一班曾經為香港民主自由曾經付出過嘅人士，而家喺監獄入邊服緊刑啦。我好希望5大訴求可以落實，而我哋喺煲底除罩嘅呢一個日子係一個人都唔會少嘅。所以我希望林鄭月娥可以盡快回應我哋嘅訴求。而如果你真係想香港翻去一個我哋大家都愛嘅香港嘅話，希望你可以願意聆聽一下市民嘅意願，唔係話你落區就係為咗要剪頭髮或者影張相做一個公關嘅表演，咁樣就係完咗，而係真真正正聽下示威區嘅市民佢嘅意見，佢嘅5大訴求。
I have logistic questions.
加油！
Question that is that so far more than 1,100 of your comrades have been arrested. Meanwhile, the government has vowed to crack down. How do you sustain that kind of protest in the same way that you have been doing for the last few weeks? Is it time for you to work with, perhaps with Penn Democrats? Have you considered that? To work with them, because traditionally they are the force of democracy in this city, and they were capable of rallying millions of people to go to the street. So 2 questions. One is that how do you sustain that? Second question is, will you be able to work with the Penn Democrats? Thank you.
Okay, so the first question, yes, people are being arrested every day. More protesters, more of our comrades are being injured, taken to prison, etc. But also every day more people are coming out, more people are understanding the situation and, coming out onto the streets to protest with us. And on the second question, in regards to the Penn Democrats, they are already fighting alongside us. We have agreed that, there will be no big stage. We have no leaders. We are a leaderless movement, a decentralized leaderless movement. And so, no, we will not adopt any leaders. And, the people who are already working alongside us, they are already working alongside us.
我諗最後2至3條問題，如果仲有，係。
問下咧，因為林鄭都話類似一個溝通平台同示威者溝通啦，你哋會唔會有啲乜嘢嘅即係條件啦，或者係點樣嘅情況下先至願意去溝通？
我諗即係記者朋友啱啱就問我哋係會喺乜嘢條件底下願意同林鄭月娥溝通啦。我想講嘅係由頭到尾唔願意溝通嘅其實唔係示威者，而係林鄭月娥。佢所講嘅嗰啲對話平台，佢所邀請嘅嗰啲人到底係啲乜嘢嘅人？其實示威者係咪真係咁難揾呢？星期6日你要落去示威區係咪真係咁難呢？又或者咁講啦，其實示威者嘅訴求咧一早已經好清楚，我諗全香港人都清楚，連李嘉誠都清楚。即係我諗喺咁樣嘅情況底下，其實一個所謂嘅對話平台，到底你係想真係同市民、同年青人、同嗰200萬名嘅愛香港嘅人去做一啲嘅對話，定還是你只係想做一個假象，扮到你想對話，而實質上就係滅聲咧？我諗睇緊電視咁多位都心中有數。係。而家即係政府即係行前個議案啦，咁其實你會唔會擔心啲示威者係會，即或者一啲市民咧會佢哋會已經可能接受咗，令到你哋可能抗爭嗰方面會減少咗一啲嘅即係籌碼或者？係多謝記者即係提問，應該係最後一條㗎啦。咁即係記者啱啱就問會唔會擔心即係政府願意係撤回之後就示威者可能會少咗，或者係少咗一啲談判嘅籌碼啦。但係我想講嘅係我相信唔會，而呢一個亦都係今日我哋民間記者會行出嚟嘅原因啦。我再三強調，我希望大家知道你哋唔係孤單嘅。我哋每一個人都係希望5大訴求缺一不可，而唔係單係你口中所講嘅嗰一啲嘅假撤回。咁即係所以係啊，即係唔會太過擔心呢一樣嘢。咁而係啦，即係所謂嘅即係談判籌碼，我諗從來都即係我哋都只係一個嘅弱勢，但係我哋真係好希望政府願意唔好再傷害無辜嘅香港市民，願意真誠咁樣去聆聽一下大家嘅訴求。多謝咁多位。